Hey, you guys, welcome back to another episode of With Love, Lola, with your host, me, Lola. Let's get into today's first story. Am I wrong for planning on ending our relationship today because he acts like his daughter is heiress to my things? My 37 female boyfriend, 42 male, Ben, has been asking weird questions and expecting me to do things that would go against my plans for my own family. Things have been working out for me in the past few years, but this year has been amazing. I decided to cut down on my daily workload a bit after I got 3 accounts that are helping me reach some financial goals. I'm planning on buying a house for my family. I downsized my current living situation, renting, after my kids went to live temporarily with my parents for the semester while I completed my certified training and graduated from my present program in university. My new place isn't as nice looking as other places, but the price was a good cut from living expenses for me. I can both walk to the office and university, and I hardly have to move my car for anything. I'm saving money that I'm putting in an account for my kids. Ben absolutely hates my place. It's clean and it's in a relatively safe area. It's just that it's a mix of student area and old families, and traffic can get messy from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and some houses are simple and elegant, and some look like tacky add-ons. I don't care if my place doesn't look nice on the outside. It's not like it's an eyesore, and it's up to me to make it livable on the inside. I had 2 other choices. Choice A cost $200 less than my previous place with access to a community pool and 2 bedrooms. I don't need more than 1 bedroom at the moment, and I don't really have time to enjoy the pool. Choice B was a bit lower, but about 45 minutes away. It was beautiful and close to the school where Ben's kids went. He did hint at it, but he would have needed to get on the lease and come up with the difference between this place and my new studio apartment that I chose. Also, living together is a major decision, and right now I really need to focus on my career and education. He said he understood, but he didn't take it well. He told me that his daughter was disappointed because she would have liked a nice place to hang out. Ben lives in an apartment. It's an average place with no problems or issues, so what he said came out as a weird remark. Fast forward and he started asking questions. First, he asked if I would be interested in partnering with him for a business idea. I said no because I already made a commitment to self-fund my own venture. Second, I'm not familiar with the industry that he wanted to break into. Then he began noticing things about stuff I owned. I'm not hiding that I'm financially stable, but I don't spend a lot. He did notice that I bought a few nice items and started telling jokes that felt harmless. Then he said I was loaded and that his daughter would be an awesome protege. Stayed quiet. To be honest, because I think he might have been offended. But there's no way in hell that I would allow entrance to what I've built to anyone other than my kids. Also, he said that I should treat his daughter as very special because I only had boys and she's my chance to have a girl in the family. His words. Don't get me wrong, she's a good kid. I have never missed out on gifting her nice and thoughtful presents on her birthdays and the holidays. But his words created a sense of discomfort and disgust for me. It felt like reverse sexism, and I told him, she and I have a decent relationship, but there's no way that I will give her access to my money if that means to treat her as my own. I know this sounds very wrong, but that's how I feel. She's not that kind of kid who's a bully or nasty or anything, but she's not my child, and every time he asks for things, I feel like he's trying to get me to take from my kids to give to her. It happened again when I gave her a short-term weekend job, so I hired his daughter for a Saturday cleaning. She did a good job. I paid her and took her to the mall to get her some makeup that she wanted, and she came back next weekend. When he picked her up, he started joking that she would start from the bottom and rise to be top executives like any other kid at their family business. I didn't say anything because she was there, but I did approach him later on and mention it to him. I tried to be gentle, but it was important for us to at least discuss expectations. His initial reaction wasn't what I was expected. To be fair, I think he got nervous or embarrassed, but I didn't like his reaction. So he said something about me potentially putting her in my will. What the heck? I'd like to clarify that he laughed, so I think it was a joke, but I also think that he wouldn't have clarified if I'd gone along. I simply stayed quiet and told him that I cared about his daughter, but it isn't fair to create any expectations. I've worked so hard to give my kids a better future, and it's taken me over 10 years, and the fact that he only sees the result without taking my past and my ordeal into consideration feels disrespectful. I also mentioned that he wanted me to change my budget and plans for a different property while he knew that moving together isn't an option, and that he stayed silent when I mentioned he would have needed to pay the difference on the lease. Also, I mentioned that I would not make any unnecessary sacrifices. Nothing else was said. He stormed out of my car, and this is why I feel like the asshole here, started walking with his hand in his pocket and a weak smirk. I had to drive slowly next to him to convince him to get back in the car because I hate Dr. David Banner scenes. I don't know what that's referencing. He looked like a kicked puppy. After I dropped him off, he has been sending me texts about being disconnected from what a blended family actually is, showing that I think his daughter is inferior, being a hypocrite, and bullying. This has disrupted my inner peace because I'm just defending what legacy I have built, and having to do it against my partner just doesn't feel right. We've talked about it and he apologized, and I did the same in case I was too harsh. He said we could find some middle ground and I was open to it. When he talked about helping him create a business for his daughter, I began to get angry because, again, it would be sweat equity for me. I declined because I did all the sweating I had to, but it was for me, and what he's asking for isn't fair. It's a responsibility, and I truly like to do things appropriately. I don't want to say yes and do it half-assed, and I don't want to work for free. I also don't want to mix anything between business and pleasure because it's my network and my contacts. And again, it could go very nice and well, or it could be a shit show, and I don't want that. I'm also concerned that he will ramp up and keep asking and asking for things. He said that if I don't help, he will feel like we will never build anything together. I said he needed to hire a consultant, but he stayed quiet. So I told him that he shouldn't place the responsibility of his present situation on me. He said that I'm probably blinded by my success, but that one day I'll wake up single and lonely. Oh my God, here we go with the single and lonely stuff. I asked if he was threatening to leave me, and he said I'm not acting like a helpful partner. I asked for a break, and he freaked out. I'm just trying to keep my mental health in check because his constant asking and jokes have made me anxious. Also, I'm very angry and thinking that he just wants a handout. I texted him this morning asking to talk. I want to break up. He said he hopes I'm not planning on dumping him because it would just mean that I just tricked him into a break. He posted something about his own mental health today. Am I the asshole for just deciding to end things? We haven't talked yet, but that's my intention. I don't see his kid as inferior at all. I just want to keep my money out of it. You're not married. You're not engaged. You're not living together. You guys are just dating. Why is he even bringing up jokingly about his daughter being in your will? Roles were reversed, okay? If a girl started speaking like that to a man about putting her daughter or his son, people would be berating the shit out of that girl. Who do you think you are? You're a gold digger. Your kid didn't do nothing to deserve your husband's success. What is the difference here? Why does a child who is not yours deserve any of the hard work you put in? Those are reserved for your kids and your kids only. And if you were married and this was your stepchild for a long time and you decided that you wanted to include her, that is up to you. It should never, ever, ever be brought up. You decided to help create a stable future for your kids. That's not your fault that he's not doing the same thing. He just wants to ride on your coattails, and I hate that. And he's being so pushy. Okay, she does have an update for us. Ooh, it's kind of long. We formally broke up today, and he made it very difficult to focus on our conversation. He interrupted me every 5 seconds and was in denial for almost half of it. I asked to meet at a small restaurant, public place strategy, to avoid any type of drama. I tried to be respectful, but definitely wanted to bring up my uneasiness and feelings about his behavior. He tried to brush it off at first, but when I insisted, he evaded the subject. I told him that he already knows my children are my priority as a sole provider, and I want to ensure that they have their needs covered. There were some comments on my other posts that I had thought about this but hadn't verbalized. Like, what would he inherit my kids, or what's his plan for his own kid? I know he doesn't have much, but that's no excuse. When I established the comparison between what he wanted for his kid versus what he would give to mine, his face changed. Like I was greedy and he was insulted. He said that my kids don't have a dad and that he can provide a paternal figure. This triggered me so much that I had to try and keep my volume in check. My thought is that being there like a piece of furniture in exchange for financial benefits for his own kid is acceptable to him. I would have loved for my kids to have a decent dad, but that's just not in the cards. And right now, I'm better off alone than with Ben. I was so angry that he kept asking me to calm down. He said he's leaving his daughter good knowledge on life in general because there are things that only he can offer since her mom is too secular, whatever that means. I didn't ask him. I said that we needed to break up, and he immediately got upset and left our table. I thought he was gone, but he came back later and claimed that he only went to use the restroom. I told him that I can't share any part of my life with him after he behaved like a gold digger, and that even if I was able to get past this, I would never even consider getting back together because his intentions are entitled and dishonest. All in all, I'm just glad that we weren't alone. He has high blood pressure issues, and sometimes I've suspected some types of mental issues. Going from 0 to 100 for things that seemed incongruent. He said he was truly sorry he offended me and said that he felt tricked and betrayed. What the heck did you do to trick and betray him? That breaks are meant for introspection and to seek improvement and to not to abandon a relationship. That my actions will have an impact on his daughter because she really likes me. I offered to have a last call or text with her if he agreed, but his answer was, no, you don't get to say anything to her. No, a break is to have clarity that you either want to pursue this relationship with this person or you do not. That's what a break is for. It's not for always, it's for improvement for yourself. And that's either moving forward with or without that person. But she basically calls him a handout seeker and he's insincere, and that she will never date someone who is not financially stable ever again because this is a huge lesson. I wish that I could say that I had left him sitting alone at the table, but he left first. When I was about to get my handbag to pay for my food, he rushed to get his paycheck and walked off really quickly. I blocked him everywhere, but I already changed my locks. He never had a key, nor did he stay over, but I'm just being cautious. He called one of our friends in common to vent about me, and she ended up angry with him because he was very insistent that I had mistreated him, and she told him that she needed to hear my side of the story. She and I had a long conversation, and she told me that she can't blame me because our group of friends had been noticing the imbalance in our relationship and how he seemed comfortable including himself in conversations about business and success when in the 16 years that she's known him, he's never gotten anything done. So that's my update. I also blocked him on social media and messaging apps. Oh my God. I love that you called him a gold digger because that's exactly what he was. He found a good coattail to ride and he thought maybe I can sustain a future for me and my daughter by chasing this woman's success. Am I wrong for telling our moms that they can't join our vacation? My fiance and I are getting married in August. We are in the thick of wedding planning and stressed AF. He travels for work and has acquired 3 free nights at any Hilton property. We booked the Waldorf Astoria in Cabo because he is a diamond member. We were upgraded to a massive 2-bedroom villa over 2,500 square feet, all for free. My dad is a flight attendant, so we get very cheap flights there. Basically, the entire vacation will only cost us about $500. Anyway, both of our moms have asked to join. They are 60 and 70, one divorced, one widowed. We are very close with both of them and like each other's moms well enough. All they do is talk about wedding planning, and them joining would obviously change the dynamic of the trip. We want to be able to swim naked and do whatever we want, and it'll be different with our moms there. Anyway, I know I shouldn't feel bad, but I do. I feel like we're getting this opportunity of a lifetime and that they've never had and that we owe it to them to allow them to join. I also think having them there could be fun in a different way. They'd have their own bedroom and can do their own thing. But my fiance really doesn't want them joining and doesn't want to hear about wedding stuff all vacation. Our moms have brought up a few times how they are so jealous and we are so lucky and they wish they could join. And we sort of just laughed it off. But I feel so guilty, clearly since I'm asking here. Very curious to hear others' thoughts. Are my fiance and I assholes for saying no? So she has a note and says, this is not our honeymoon. We're going to Cabo this week. It's just a random vacation to use up free Hilton nights that will be expiring soon. We will still have a proper honeymoon after our wedding. No, you're not that. What? Why would you be the asshole for saying no when you just you're only engaged, enjoy this time of your life. It's not going to come back. The sweet spot, why would your moms even want to join you? They should be no, this is their time. Let them enjoy this. We've already had our time to enjoy stuff. Even if they didn't get to enjoy that kind of stuff, you can't, don't make your kids feel guilty about stuff like that. And especially daughters will always feel guilty about their moms, especially not being able to enjoy out on the joys of life. So I get why you feel that way. To make it up, I would just plan another vacation instead and include them. If your fiance doesn't want it and you don't really want to, then I wouldn't. But if you wanted to do it, then that's fine. But he obviously doesn't, and I wouldn't change it. Cabo sounds like heck fun, and that's something I would definitely want to do alone. Am I wrong for not telling my wife my cousin is insanely wealthy? I, 31 male, and my wife, 34 female, and my cousin, 33 female, and her husband, 35 female. My cousin and her husband own a fairly large farm, and that is my cousin's pride and joy. Not one single person was surprised when she bought it. Her husband is a pipe welder and makes good money as well. My cousin and her husband are well known in the community and very well respected, and they do a lot for the community. With all of that said, when she was in her early 20s, she won a lot of money. I'm talking about FU kind of money. At that moment, she has made it so all of her kids, including any children I may have in the family, will be able to go to college, and she paid for her siblings' educations. She has used it for the community, but what she's done with it didn't even make a dent in it. My cousin is insanely wealthy. Her place is paid off, and her husband's income along with the farm income pays for pretty much everything, so the money she won isn't really touched, other than for her charity work or if they need it for some sort of specialized equipment. They do have a very nice home, but if you saw them just out and about, you wouldn't know it at all. They look very normal. She drives a Bronco her husband gifted her when she had her most recent baby, or the farm truck that looks like it's been to hell a few times. My wife and I have been together for 3 years and married for 1.5 years. My wife is a nurse practitioner and she is in a specialty field, so she makes very good money, and I work in aviation. I make about the same as she does. We are well off compared to most people in our area, but we aren't even close to what my cousin is. She would have been making well over what we make just in her farm and her husband's job, and the other incomes just makes it insane. My wife is very prideful. She likes to make everyone know she's made it. She has a very nice car and likes to bring it up how much she makes in nearly every conversation. Oh, sorry. I find that extremely unattractive. Why would you make that your personality? Your income should not be your selling point. She always wants the best of the best, and I try to give her that. 99% of my family cannot stand my wife, but they are too nice to say anything, and I love her, so they just deal with it. Oh, she's gonna get butthurt that she finds someone who's richer than her. I can see it. I can smell it. Recently, another one of my cousins got married, and she got married at my rich cousin's house. They have a huge barn and a nice pond, so they basically cleaned out the barn for the wedding. It was beautiful. That was the first and only only time my wife has been to my cousin's house. She always thought my cousin just had a little hobby farm, and for some reason she thought they were poor. Most of our vegetable, meat, and eggs come from my cousin, but I normally get it from her myself. Anyway, now my wife is pissed that I embarrassed her and that I should have told her that my cousin was rich. It's not like it was a secret that my cousin paid for all of the upgrades to the school and matched the donations for the community to build a park. There was a huge banner on the park fence for her husband's business and her farm, along with all of the other businesses that donated to it. We pass by that park all the time. It has become an argument because I pretty much told my wife she embarrassed herself and she should stop treating everyone like they are poor. There are several people in her community that make as much or more than we do. She just doesn't see that and they don't flaunt it like she does. So, am I the asshole for not telling her? Or am I the asshole for telling her she embarrassed herself? No, I don't like your wife either. I'm sorry. Why is she acting like people who are poor are less than people who have money? What? That should be a turning point in her life to be like, yo, maybe I should self-reflect. When you think you're top shit and you meet someone who's actually top shit and doesn't act like they're top shit, it's a very humbling experience. So she feels dumb. That's why. She feels embarrassed and dumb that she was there flaunting, thinking that she's the shit and that she makes all this money where someone else doesn't let the money change their life or their personality. Am I wrong for telling my fiance I don't want her to wear her late husband's wedding ring during our ceremony? I'm gonna say you're not the asshole, but why would she wear her late husband's wedding ring for her new wedding? Let's find out. I, 30 male and engaged to Emily, 30 female, and we're getting married this fall. I love her deeply and I've never been more sure about anything in my life. That said, there's one thing that's been eating at me, and I'm not sure if I'm being selfish or just honest. Emily was married once before to a guy named Tyler. They got married young, early 20s, and he passed away in a car accident about 5 years ago. It was sudden and tragic, and from everything I've heard, they were truly in love. I met Emily 2 years after his death. At first, she was very open about it, and I respected that. I knew coming into this relationship that I wasn't her first great love, and I was okay with that. I still am mostly. Over the years, I've supported her through moments of grief, anniversaries, random waves of sadness. She still visits his grave on his birthday, and she keeps a box of his things in our closet. I've never touched it. She's shown me a few pictures of them together, and I've listened to her talk about what kind of person he was. I've tried really hard to respect that part of her life while also building our own. Which brings me to now. A few weeks ago, Emily told me she plans to wear Tyler's wedding ring on a chain around her neck on our wedding day. She explained it as a quiet tribute, not something she wants to announce or make a big deal about, just something personal. She said she wouldn't be where she is now without having gone through that loss, and she feels like carrying that part of her story into this new chapter is meaningful. I didn't say much at the time because I didn't know how to respond. But the more I sat with it, the more it bothered me. So I finally told her about how I felt. I said I want our wedding day to be the celebration of us. And it's hard for me to wrap my head around the idea of her wearing another man's wedding ring, even if he's gone. I told her it makes me feel like I'm sharing the most important day of my life with someone who's not here. I said it makes me feel like second place. She got very quiet, then told me that she wasn't choosing him over me and that she's allowed to honor her past while still moving forward. She said grief isn't a door you close. It just becomes a part of who you are. I get that. I really do. But at the same time, I don't think I'm asking something outrageous by wanting this one day, our day, to be about the life we're building together, not the one she lost. Since then, there's been a weird tension between us. She hasn't brought it up again, but she hasn't said she's changed her mind either. I feel like the bad guy, like I'm trying to erase someone important to her. But I'm also struggling with the idea of standing at the altar and knowing she's literally carrying a symbol of her first marriage as she says vows to start a new one with me. I've told no one in my life about this, not my friends, not my family, because I know how it might sound. But internally, it's tearing me up. I don't want to hurt her, and I definitely don't want to start a marriage with resentment or guilt. But am I wrong for what I said? I haven't asked her not to wear it explicitly yet, but made it clear I'm not comfortable with it. So, am I the asshole? Okay, let's get into it. I get where she's coming from, okay? I understand. Not truly because I haven't grieved yet in my life. May I be prepared for when I have to, but I understand why she wants to do what she does, okay? But I'm on your side on this because your wedding is like inherently, implicitly, and factually about you and your spouse, your relationship together, and her late husband should not be a part of that. I think there's another way you guys can probably think of where she can continue to honor him and remember him for the rest of her life. But this is one day and it's your day and her day. And I would not be okay with my significant other carrying the ring that he was wearing when he was married to someone else. When you're literally about to marry me. I would be like, what the fudge? I get it. I'm like, this is second place. Like, you're never going to let this go. And like, not that you have to let it go, but like for me, and I really appreciate the way you went about it and you explained it well enough and you are entitled to those feelings. And I do think she should not wear it because even if you hadn't asked, right? I don't think she should have worn it. But now that you've explained yourself and you're saying, hey, like, I don't feel comfortable with it. I want this to be about me and you. And I feel second place to him. As your fiance, I would really have to step back and be like, you know what? I get that I was in a marriage with someone and I loved him and I lost him, but I have to respect the person who is with me right now, right? Compromise. You should have a conversation of why she feels like she really needs to wear it. She may be feeling guilty of moving on, which is valid, but you guys need to come to a middle ground of this is not okay for you. All right, you guys, it's time for the final story of today's episode. And it's going to be from the viewer submission where viewers like you send me your story. Don't forget that I also have a dedicated Reddit page where you guys can post on there and I will see those stories and people can also comment and give you guys advice. It's withlove_Lola on Reddit. I'll have it linked too. So I can grab stories from there as well as you guys sending it to me directly. Am I wrong for refusing to stay with my grandma after I found my own name carved into the walls on her house? Over and over again. Hi Lola. Okay, I know this is going to sound like I'm making it up, but I'm genuinely losing sleep over it and my family thinks I'm being dramatic. So here I go. Last month, my family asked me, 27 female, to stay with my grandma for a week while she recovered from a minor surgery. She lives alone in this old creaky house in the middle of nowhere, literally surrounded by woods, like something out of a horror movie. But I love her and I had the week off, so I said yes. Day 1, fine. A little eerie, but whatever. Day 2, I noticed something strange carved into the inside of the guest room closet. It said my name. Exact spelling carved multiple times into the wood like Mallory, 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 over and over. I asked her about it. She laughed and said, oh, honey, maybe you did that when you were little. Except I never stayed in that room as a kid, and I've never carved my name into anything in my life. Day 3, I found a drawer in the basement labeled VHS tapes. Dozens of them, each one labeled Mallory Summer with a different year, and the years went back to 1989. I wasn't born until 1997. What the fudge? I don't do scary stories. Wait, why are you sending me this stuff? I picked one up and popped it into the dusty old VCR in the living room, and there I was, same face, same weird mole on my neck, just younger. Playing in the backyard, sitting at the kitchen table, smiling at the camera. I shut it off and I asked her again, who is that? She looked at me dead in the eyes and said, that's you. You always come back. What the fudge? I left that night, didn't wait for the morning, didn't say goodbye. I packed up my bag, drove 4 hours in the dark and told my mom I wasn't going back. Now my whole family's calling me selfish, saying I abandoned an old woman who needed my help. That she's getting forgetful and probably didn't mean any of it. But Lola, I saw my own face on a VHS tape from 1993. There's no way to explain that. They think I'm exaggerating. I think my grandma is hiding something. I don't want to find out what. I just want to stay gone. So, am I the asshole for leaving her behind? Oh my gosh. Ah! Oh my gosh. That is weird. Maybe, okay, probably just put the wrong year on the tape. Okay, it's probably you. The name thing, I'm not too scared about the VHS stuff. Okay, like that's probably just a mistake on her end. But the name thing carved into the wood, that's weird. That would freak me out. And I don't understand why old people live alone. Like, this is why, like, this is so scary and dangerous. Like, they get in all their head and they lose their marbles and then they do some crazy, weird stuff. I would be like, I'm not going back there until someone's with me. Oh my gosh. All right, you guys, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, follow my Reddit page, follow my TikTok, follow my Instagram, follow me on every platform that you can think of. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, with love, Lola. Bye.